I am sure sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crapper players. We are good enough. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices, add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
All right. Good evening and welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I am Manning's man, and beside me today, you know him very well. I can't even disguise who he is. We were hoping to do some kind of disguise it, right? But he's too popular to hide now. But this is Heimir Hallgirmsson, and we are here today to just have a discussion. He's going to have an opportunity to speak to you, the fans. You will have an opportunity to speak to him. Just a conversation so you can get to know him a little bit more, and also to know what his overall plans are for Jamaica's football, not just our national team. All right, so I'm going to do him I don't know how to introduce him, right? But he, as you know, he coached the Icelandic national team. He was an assistant coach to Lance Lagerback, I think his name was. And then he took over as the full coach for the team. Then after that, he went and he coached in Qatar, Al Azir, Al Arabi. That he still follows. He still follows that team and he checks up on them. And he's here. He recently took the job of coaching and leading Jamaica's football, and I think this goes beyond just coaching the team, but transforming the whole Jamaica footballing landscape. He has brought much joy to the Jamaican footballing landscape. He not only came alone, but he brought his family, his wife Idris, she's not here, and Christoph, his son, actually departed for a short while today. He's going to play some football, but he will be back. And he also brought his friend Grimmy, and he's going to give the pronunciation of that name. I told Grimmy that I would not do that, and John Wall. So for the first time on I Am Sure Sports, people here with Coach Heimir Hallgirmsson. Coach, welcome.
Thank you for the introduction. Sorry I came to the show. I think it's just easier for me to sit beside you. If you say something not inappropriate, I'm sitting next to you. Remember that. I'm sitting. I'm not somewhere else. You can shut off on the website. But no. Happy to be here. I've watched some of your shows, and I really think you're doing a good job. Number one, trying to get people together. Secondly, trying to educate us all about things that, yeah, and I've learned a lot of things through watching some of your shows. Yeah, I'm not going to say I've watched them all because I think you do one or two every day. It's just not time to do it. But Icelandic national team shirt. Sorry,
Yeah.
I came in my Jamaican shirt, but you know the reason why I could not
Yeah.
wear that.
So let me explain to the people, right? As you know, we use a green screen, and the Jamaica jerseys have green, and so the green spaces makes the coach invisible. All right, so that's the reason why. So please forgive him. It's not his fault. It is management's fault. So I take full responsibility for him having on an Icelandic shirt today. All right. As usual, we ask you to hit the like button, and if you have not, please subscribe to the channel and support what we're doing here. But coach, just for beginning, some persons, they have seen and heard you on interviews, but they haven't like met they Google and find stuff, but they don't know Coach Hallgirmsson. So why don't you just tell them a little bit? I know I did speak about your coaching pedigree coming here, but tell them a little bit about just the person, the family, and the involvement in football.
Yeah, born and raised in Vestmannaeyjar, which is a small island in the south coast of Iceland, um, only below 5,000 inhabitants. So Icelanders pride themselves to be strong and tough and hardworking, but the people from the Westman Islands, they say they are the better version of the Icelanders. So it's like that. No, it's rough weathers and stuff, and we lost many people to the sea because this is where we survived in the past from the sea. So no, it's tough people from that island. I'm the youngest of five siblings. Yeah, my mother lost two before, so should have been seven. And football has been my life, more or less in my life. My brother played; he was the captain of the local club. So at birth, probably I was given the bacteria of the football bacteria, so that was kind of unavoidable. I still went when I graduated from college. I went to university. I went to University of Reykjavik. I did my degree, so I became a dentist. 7 years in university doing dental studies. I opened my own clinic in the same town, and I just sold it 2 years ago or 3 years ago. But I am a co-owner in a bigger company of dental clinic, so still a little bit attached to that industry. But football, like I said, always was my passion. So started playing young. I think I started football 5 years old on training sessions. That is normal from where I come from. We start really early with good coaches, good facilities for football. Played until I was 17, and then I was a really late developer. So I was very small, didn't have a chance to play in the team at that time. I was like the under 21s. So I stopped playing for 1 year and a half. And then the club said to me, why don't you come and coach with, there was a guy from Poland who was the head coach for the club. Just go there and assist him. And I fell in love with coaching when I was 17. So since then, I've more or less been coaching. I was coaching while I was playing. I started then a year later and played, I think, 10 years with the first team, the local team in my hometown. So I was coaching while I was playing, and then I went to study, and I was coaching while I was studying and playing, and then when I became a dentist, I was practicing and also coaching. So I've been more or less coaching with doing a lot of other things. So that was my football career. It was in the highest level in Iceland, but I never made it to become a professional. I never made it to the national team. But my wife has been there though.
Right, but your wife did play for the national team.
Yeah, I think she has 20 caps,
20
something.
caps,
I'm not
yeah.
sure how many it was, but she was really a good player. So the first 15 years of my coaching career was coaching under 10s
Okay.
and football schools for the basics, the basics of football was my first 15 years of coaching. And then I took over the women's team and I coached them for 5 years. And
I'm wondering, let me just pause right there. So your wife played for the national team. You took over the national team. Did anything happen there?
no, I didn't take the women's national team. No, we started being together, and she was playing the local club first team for the women's team there, and they needed a coach, so I jumped in there, we did really well. So we finished the last year where we became cup champions. Never done that before. We were League Cup champions. Never done that before, and we're second in the league. And we made some really good football players, and she was one of them. So I'm very proud of her.
All right, that's wonderful. All right, so after the stint with the football team, you did actually became a part of the Icelandic senior men's coaching staff as an assistant coach with Lars Lagerbäck. I think that is the team that went to the World Cup. They qualified for the World Cup and did extremely well, and also did extremely well in the Euros. And you were part of that coaching staff.
Yeah, so after the women's team, like I said, 5 years with the women's team, I took the men's team in my hometown and promoted them from the second division to the Premiership. And then we did really well. 3 years in a row, we qualified for the European Cup. So I think we were third place for 3 years in a row. So that qualifies us to play in the preliminaries for Europe. And after this success, the national team called me and said, "Do you want to be an assistant coach? We are hiring a foreigner for the national team."
Oh,
So I was kind of hired before the foreigner was hired. And at that time, they were talking about Roy Keane. So that was the hottest name at that time, that Roy Keane
Roy
was coming.
Keane?
Yeah. But then they decided to go with Lars Lagerbäck, a really experienced Swedish coach that had taken Sweden to Euros and the World Cup for, I think, 6 times. So he had so much knowledge, so much experience. And we, as Iceland, we needed that because we have never qualified for anything. And the saying, when I grew up was that we're just too few, but we can never qualify for a major tournament in football because it's such
because the population is just below 400,000 in Iceland.
Yeah, it's around 350,000 living in Iceland.
Okay.
So yeah, so that happened. So the federation called me and invited me to be the assistant coach. I accepted that because I thought 5 years in my local club was I think we did what we could. And then I was assistant coach with for Lars Lagerbäck, or with Lars Lagerbäck in the World Cup 2016 for Brazil. And then we would join coaches. So he said he's ready, but I like to stay on, so let's be joint coaches. So that was when the Euro in France started. So we qualified that for the first time, and we did really well. And it was such a happy time, and I hope we can do that with Jamaica. It was such a happy time for the people
nation,
because we qualified, and that was huge. So a lot of Icelanders, I think 10% of the nation went to France to watch. It was
wow.
It was a silly number, but
and I mean you guys were so famous for the Thunderclap. I think you introduced that to the World Cup as a small nation, and the Euros, like everyone recognized Iceland for not just their play, but that Thunderclap that the people did. I don't remember, but that was even fantastic. Just watching how the fans did that. But continue.
It was Thunderclap was kind of a secondary because of all things. I think it just showed that we were all in this together, the fans. the staff, the people, the FA, everyone's in it together. So when we were successful, I think everybody felt how much they had contributed to it. So it was a big ownership in this success. It was not a one guy or two guys or a coaching staff or the FA. It was an effort from everyone. So we qualified for the finals. We did really well. We started drawing against Ronaldo in Portugal. That was kind of a shock because we thought maybe we are a little bit too small for this tournament. But started with a really good draw against Portugal. Then we drew Hungary, and then in the end we were drawing Austria, but we managed to score in the end and qualify like number 2 in our group, which meant that we would face England in the final 16. And that was something that, Icelanders probably are similar to Jamaicans, that we watch English football. Like we're born and raised with English football. Everybody has a club to support, and that was huge for us to play England, and even more so when we finally beat them and ended up then losing against France in the final 8. So that was a huge success. After that, I took over, and Lars went after the Euros.
Right, so you took over. You were now the head coach of the Iceland team after Lars.
Yeah, we were joined in the Euros, and he went and he took, I think, Norway a year later.
Yes, right. He went to Norway,
and then I took over the as a head coach, and we qualified for the World Cup again for the first time, and the smallest nation
ever to have qualified.
Yeah, but I think we took that from Trinidad.
Yeah,
they were the smallest nation before.
Right,
us.
Trinidad. Right.
Somewhere I heard that. So, and not only did we qualify, but we won our group, and in the group was Croatia that ended up being second.
Right, because they went to the finals. Yes.
And it was Ukraine that was really good at that time. Turkey was in the group, and then was Finland. It was.
And Finland are actually your neighbors because they're Scandinavian as well.
Yeah, so really a strong group, but we managed to be number 1, and Croatia had to go to the playoff to qualify, and
they went to the.
And then we ended up in the same group with Croatia again in the group in the World Cup. Yeah, so that was good. First game, Argentina. So for a small nation, going to the World Cup, this is kind of a Cinderella story. You get to play Argentina. And again,
how did you feel as a coach? Your first game in the World Cup is against Lionel Messi. How did the team feel, and how, as a coach, what was the moment like for you?
No, we lived it before in the Euros.
Okay.
So kind of this, are we too small? I think that was not there, but when you go to a World Cup, you like to play the likes of Argentina. You like to play the likes of Brazil, because they are kind of the metaphor for the World Cup.
Yeah.
And it was nice. We made a draw against them, and then we lost against Nigeria in game number 2, and then it was really down to the final minute in the final game against Croatia, and we lost 2-1. But we had a really good game. Should have won that match, but that is life.
Yeah. Iceland has a lot to be proud of. Like I said, being a small nation, and many of your players, they don't play in Iceland because the league is not where some of the other leagues are. So to have accomplished that is major. But then you'd move on from the Icelandic national team shortly after that, and head to Qatar. That would be a next stop in terms of coaching. What was that for you? What was that like for you in terms of adjustment? Leaving from, like I said, Iceland, now moving to the Far East, completely different culture, different levels of football, and from a national team to a club team.
It was a lot tougher now when I think back than it was for me at that time, because I thought after the World Cup I'm probably one of the best coaches in the world, but I soon realized that wasn't. So no, I I think that's a good thing about me and my family is that we are not afraid to go out of our comfort zone. And I think you only can grow if you do that. If you accept that you will do mistakes along the way, and you will need help to grow as a person. So I can say now that when I went there, I thought I knew it all, but my God, I didn't.
Yeah.
And that was a big decision to go because I was 5 years coaching the women's team. I was 5 years coaching the men's team back home. Then I was 7 years with the national team. So
Oh,
we
oh.
we decided. I decided that this is good enough. Now the team needs to change, and I thought at that
Oh, so
time,
you kind of basically walked away
no,
or
yeah, it
took
was,
up a different
yeah,
challenge.
I didn't want to. Yeah, they wanted, of course, to keep us because it was the best result for Iceland the national team ever to qualify for the World Cup. So we had a chance to stay, but I decided for me as a professional, I think it was better to go and try something different because it was tough to repeat what we have done with the national team. So yeah, and I almost went to Vancouver. That was kind of what I wanted. So
Oh,
it was two things I said. I want to go to coach a club because I like more time on the grass than when you're a national team coach.
right,
You
right,
meet
right,
players
right.
only once in a while, and you have 3 training sessions before a match, and then the players are gone, and you have nothing to do unless just planning and watching and preparing and stuff. So I said I would like a club team, and I would like it to be from an English speaking country
Yeah.
because it was too much to jump to the club and also learn a new language. And that was good because yeah, I wanted to go to Vancouver. That was a possibility at the time, but then they decided not to or to go for another one. So I took this chance to go to Qatar. It's good. It's English speaking country, and
They actually speak English in Qatar. I didn't know
yeah,
that. I
yeah,
didn't know
yeah.
that. I thought they were.
Everybody understands English, so
Oh,
it's a mix of. We had, or in my presentations, I did it in English, but I had a Arabic translation for those who did not understand.
standing.
So we
Okay.
could do it like this. But it was mostly foreign guys like from Iran that did not understand
Okay.
the English well enough.
And the club that you went to was actually a club that was struggling when you actually got there, and you got them um, basically up the charts, stabilized them.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they were really going down. They were a sunken ship. It was the best team, like from 1980 to 90. It was the best team in Qatar. They won every year. They had all the national team players, etc. But after that, it was downhill. So when we came, it was like 20 years without winning a trophy, and they were going to the second division. So we needed to change the culture in the club to start to rebuild it, and we did that. And now today I think they are second in the league, playing a lot of the young players we started to play before, and it's a really good culture. And from before, where nobody respected that club, now everybody respects the club, and
Yeah.
there's a huge work from the administration. They kept their head through that period because normally they like a quick fix.
Okay,
They
but
just buy a new player who is a good
yeah.
player, but it needed just a structural change, a change in culture to start to build a new team. And I'm so proud of them now. They're still doing a good job.
But that is awesome that you would have gone there and left the kind of framework that even today they have built on it, which is partly, I think, one of the key roles that you probably play in Jamaica's football. That when that time comes, um, very far down the road, and you make a next transition, that you'd leave a framework that whoever comes already has something to build on, which is what happened with the club team over there in Qatar. That they are able to build on that solid foundation that you laid in the years that you spent there.
Yeah, and normally I've been quite open with what I'm trying to do and how I'm going to try to achieve it. So I hope I can do the same here. And I wish that it was for these reasons I was hired to Jamaica. And now I don't know why I was hired to here, but
Yeah.
I hope it's has something to do with what we did with Iceland because that was building from kind of nothing. So I got experience from a really good person and an experienced coach. So he gave us all the secrets from how he built Sweden.
Yeah.
So he gave us that. I learned from that. Now I'm sharing that with Jamaica.
Yeah. 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 Owen, for the persons asking, where is the Jamaican jersey? Both of us are wearing blue. Let me explain to you again, right? We have a green screen, and because of the green screen, it is very difficult to wear green. All right, and most of the Jamaican colors of green. Coach did have on his green jersey. I asked him to stick to it, but he said no. I don't want to be the invisible man. All right, so please bear with that. But thanks to all of you who are on the stream. Over 212 of you are watching. Thanks for doing that. So we're gonna get into some other stuff, but I want your coach to also help them to understand your you know what level coaching license you have as a coach. Like yeah, what
Yeah. So back home, you cannot be a coach unless you have a license. So it's mandatory in the licensing system for the clubs that if you are for example, a coach in the women's team, you have to have a UEFA A license to be able to coach the women's team. So I did my coaching badges pretty early in my career. Then I took my UEFA B, I took my UEFA A, and then I went to England to do my UEFA Pro license. Not sure what year it was, but probably around nine. I'm not gonna guess. I'm gonna have it wrong.
yeah.
But I did it quite early, and with a lot of good guys. I remember the group that graduated with me was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was there, Gianfranco Sola was there, Sunday Olise was there. It was a lot of former players. So yeah, I was really lucky with the group that I graduated with. And I've always been involved with the coaching education back home because I took the pro license quite early. I did my A license quite early, and I had really extensive experience in coaching because I started coaching early. It's very unusual.
Yeah.
So when I talk to other coaches, they always say you have such a strange background in coaching because at this level normally it's
Older person.
players that went all the way and then they decided to coach. But I have like an experience from I was 17. I have a lot of years youth coaching. Not many national team coaches have coached a women's team, and I've coached amateurs, I've kids, women, professionals, and I've coached at the World Cup and the Euro. So really a broad spectrum of coaching in general. So it's good to share with other coaches some of the things I've learned along the way.
All right, awesome. Right, well, let's get down. All right, so persons, I know some may have some questions, right? But we want to make sure that coach gets out all that he wants to say, and then at the latter stages of the interview, we will take some of your questions. All right, we won't take 100. We'll probably take one. I'm just kidding. We'll take a few. So just hold them. All right. But you said something earlier that is so important about the job. What you're here for. We want to believe that you're here not just for 2026, but to like you did, like you said in Iceland and what you did in Qatar, that whenever that time comes for you to transition, that you have done more than qualified a team for the World Cup, but you have left systems and a platform that whoever comes after you, they can build on it. So, what are some of the things that are you foresee your role being in terms of Jamaica's football? What is your role here, or what is your job here?
So I would guess sometimes I'm confused if I should be a coaching educator, if I should be a media person, if I should be doing administrative or management changes, or develop the youth or talent ID. But I think first and foremost I'm here as a head coach for the national team and try to change the structure, try to change the things I know, because you only can teach what you know.
Yeah.
So to change and implement the things I know work at this level. So I think that is first and foremost my job, to build a team for today that can get stronger and stronger until 226, and hopefully, after that it can just grow in strength.
Okay. And then what are some of the things that what are some of the markers that you'll have to like basically put in place to ensure that at the end of it all you can walk away saying the objective was completed, the job was done, I have done more than I really came here for. What are some of the things that say 8 years from now, if that's it, or 4 years from now, or 6 years from now, um, Coach Hallgirmsson is headed to coach uh, the England national team, but he can look back at Jamaica and say, you know what, yeah, that's done. A legacy has been left.
No, I think what is missing, and I've only been at the job for 2 months. You have
Yeah.
to bear with me. I know so little yet. I'm still learning a lot of things. But from what I see, it is so little structure around the first national team or the men's national team. And I think it's the same for the women's. I think it's a little bit same for the youth. So
Yeah.
there's no kind of structure. So I hope we can start with being more professional in everything that we are doing. For example, when I came, there was no profile on the players who had played with the national team. There was no database on players. Or only thing we got was names that had played for the last 2 years. And really, for a new coach, it doesn't say much when you just have a lot of names. It doesn't categorize them. It didn't say if they played well or bad. And then I think that will be the first thing, to make a structure around the national
Football,
team,
yeah.
how we play and why we play like we want to, etc. So that will be the biggest task.
All right.
And how you do that? Sorry, how you do that? I've said, often use the word working environment.
Yeah.
Often use because I think it's so important when you build something from scratch. You have to start to see the big picture and build a working environment. So you can say, this is how we are going to work to take the step from here to here.
Yeah. So it's creating that working environment, and that has many components to it. It's not just uh, the field, but it's administration, it is player pool, it is fan base, it is just the commercial things as well. Everything surrounding the football in the nation, and not just the senior national team. It's creating that. All right. So that's awesome. Now we were talking about this just before we came on about the philosophy, the game model, or the system of play. You have worked with a national team. You have also worked with a club team. How does that work? Is it that Coach Hallgrimsson comes in with a philosophy and we adjust to it, or he comes in, he works with a technical director, or there's a system of play that you bring, or there is a system of play in Jamaica that you will fit into? How does it work? How did it work with Iceland, and how do you see that working in the Jamaican context? Like, I know it's a little different with the club because clubs have cultures.
Mhm.
National teams can be a little different, especially ours, because I mean, I would say most of us have said that we have no identity. We don't look at our national teams and say, "Oh, well, that is how we play. That is our identity."
Mhm.
Um, is that part of your function to create and establish that um, with the national team, and maybe the league in the nation will pick up on it? And how how does that work?
That was not in the job description when we came, but I really, it's really an important and a good question. It probably is a whole show just answering that. a question around. But
All right, you want us to leave that for
no. We can maybe take it step by step.
Okay.
I think now it should be in Jamaica. It should be you can call it a technical director. You can call it director of football, whatever you call it. That will protect some things regarding the football. So let's say when you go to a club as a coach, and you go let's use a good example like the Red Bull clubs. Their philosophy is known. It's a high pressing. It's a lot of power
Like
in their game.
RB's,
It's
Salzburg,
Leipzig.
Leipzig,
It's New
York,
York,
Red Bull.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in all of these teams, the philosophy, the game model, the identity is like this. So you know when you go there, and now we have Corey Burke, who's now going
To New York
Red Bulls.
Yeah.
So his game style will be he will be pressing all the time when they lose the ball. They are high up on the pitch, or a lot of energy in their game, and that is like when you're a coach, so they hire a coach that will fit their style of play.
Okay.
So when they bring a coach, he cannot say, "No, I'm going to change and do this."
Oh.
So, for example, if something works, and I hope we will bring something to this table and say, "This is how Jamaica will play in the future." So if the next coach will like it, then at least it's there.
Right.
So he can say, "No, we don't want to do this. We want to do that." So, and I think the players deserve to know what it is that is what the coach will ask for the players. So what is the standard equipment that a player needs to play for Jamaica? And that is my job to explain to them. And I think it's fair to the players to know what the coach expects from them. So it's good to use a platform like this just to explain
some of these things. All right, so we're going to get into that, because I said just explain that whole thing will take an entire show, right? But recently in one of your interviews, you spoke about the surfaces. And we have also had discussions before where you know, I remember you shared with me that you went, can't remember the nation in Africa, but Uganda, right? And in Uganda, the surfaces weren't the best. They were all dirt surfaces, but the control and the technical ability was good. So there was some benefit in having in playing on poor surfaces. Well, I don't know if you want to say benefit is the appropriate word, but you can learn
positives to all negative.
Right?
You can always find some positives.
There you go. That is the term you always use. You always say, Omar, there are always positives to some negatives. But right, so you mentioned that. So what are the positives or the negatives based on the quality of the surfaces?
Now I have to think national team.
Yeah.
Now I have to think national. This is my job. I'm coaching the national team.
Yeah.
So at this level in modern football today, I would say 70%, 60% of all trainings or drills are passing drills. You include them in tactical
randos and all that.
You include them in even in fitness today. So it's all about passing, moving. Here in Jamaica, it's really difficult to execute these drills. So you cannot train properly the things that are probably 70% done elsewhere. So when a Jamaican comes to a club, to a professional club, he will be struggling in that area, and that is a big area for every football player. So I would say here that the game is slower than in most other countries. If you're comparing yourself to, you want your players to play at a higher level, yes?
Yeah.
So let's say to the championship or to the championship in England. So the game is played at a much lower pace here because of the surface. Every player needs one or two touches just to control the ball because it's not common. He can never or almost never pass it first time. So all the combination passes and combination play is almost non-existent. Instead, the players go for the long ball. So then the characteristics of the game is kind of controlled by the pitches.
Yes.
So we play long ball. So what does the striker in Jamaica need? He needs to be powerful. He needs to be fast because they need to take the ball down, turn, and try to create something,
Yeah.
or run behind. So he needs to be really fast, etc. But we don't see the combination play. Well, I'm not going to say in no game, but some teams are really trying to play, but they are struggling with it.
Yeah. And isn't that also difficult? Because, say, for example, a player who is playing in a good environment, good surface, because he comes to the national team and he's playing with a player who plays on this surface. Now, the player coming from the international player versus the domestic player, the international player moves faster, turns and goes for the ball, he runs, but the local player plays slower, so he's going to be offside. He's not going to get the ball on time. So can that also factor into how the team play, meaning that it affects it will take more time to build chemistry because the international player needs to adjust to the pace,
Mhm.
or the domestic player needs to adjust to the pace of the international player, because the difference in surface in both places are so far and wide apart.
I think it has also got to do with confidence, because the international player knows when the ball is coming, it's coming here. I already start to look for the next
Yeah.
player. But the Jamaican, he is watching the ball because it's coming, and he doesn't know maybe it's coming to his foot or to his chest. So
Yeah.
he needs to have his eyes on the ball instead of the other guy is already scouting what he can do first touch when the ball comes. So it's also down to this confidence. You can do things faster. But I think here in Jamaica, the clubs want to sell players abroad. The players want to go abroad, and the biggest factor when you scout players for teams elsewhere in the world is his statistics. So you look at the player. Okay, this guy, he comes from this club in Jamaica, and he's only passing, let's say, 20, 40, 60% of the passes that the same player you're looking at. Why is he passing so few passes? Because the football is different here. You know,
Yes.
they skip the middleman. They play over the midfielder, for example, and then the passing completion. So how many
Yeah.
percentage of his passes is completed, and it's really low. I'm not going to say low, but it's lower here than elsewhere. So the comparison is really unequal for the Jamaican player
Harder
compared to
for
the
them
other
to
one.
sold
Yeah.
to be sold, because statistically they would be far off, because the surfaces don't allow them to to add up the numbers in terms of passing. Okay. In Iceland, who is responsible for the for the care and the preparation of the pitches that you have? Because I mean, you're 300,000 people. We are 3 million people. We have more fields. You said it. Listen, we have more grass in Jamaica than Iceland. But who has the primary responsibility? Is it the MA in Iceland, or is it the government, or is it just
What you could say municipality.
yeah, the
So,
municipal, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
so it's kind of one club in each village, and the village, they pride themselves of having the best facilities for sports. So
okay,
they really pride themselves to have the best facilities for sport. It's a lot of artificial pitches in Iceland because of, like you said, the weather. It's cold, it's dark, and it's snowing during the winter time, so it's difficult to grow grass. So I'm really struggling why there's not no good grass pitches here in Jamaica, because it's so easy for you. You have the
yeah,
sun, you have the rain, uh, and yeah, it should be easy. But it takes a lot of maintenance to have a good football pitch, and I
yeah.
think that is the issue.
And if there is anything, I mean, do you have any ideas of how we should go about this, or I mean, you haven't been here long enough to kind of understand the landscape to kind of
I'll tell you one thing. What puzzles my head is that I go now because we want to play in Montego Bay.
yeah,
So I've gone there now for a month.
which is Catherine Hall.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we're gonna
Catherine.
play there against Trinidad. So I've been going there every week just to monitor how the progress of the pitches is
You are
going.
monitoring.
Yeah. I want to do that myself because I know it will be really bad to bring professional players to play on this grass. They will be really, really, first of all, they will be not as good as we would have them in the match. But secondly, it's dangerous for them because they don't have the ankles and these things to play on this pitch. But what is struggling me driving there every week is driving past 3 golf courses.
Yes, one on the left, one on the right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you have like it's like a carpet. The grass is so good. So
Yeah.
I'm struggling. Why is it possible on this much space to have a good grass, and then you cannot do it on a football pitch? That's puzzling me. You tell me.
Yeah.
You tell me the reason.
Well, that's, anyone here of an I don't know. I did have that discussion coming out of the interview that you did, and it bothers me. And this has been an ongoing problem in our nation. And we're not saying that we need 100 quality surfaces, but at least one in every parish. Like one in like I mean one in every parish. You call it municipal, but a
Yeah,
parish.
one in every
So
parish.
there could be one in St. Anne, one in Trelawney,
Mhm.
and one in St. James. Right. The other thing is that it is possible because you have been going to Montego Bay, like I said, to Catherine Hall, and there is work being done to get the stadium to the quality that you think is sufficient.
Mhm.
So that says that it can be done because it is being done.
They are trying at least.
Yeah, they are trying.
Yeah.
So there is the possibility that we need to will ourselves, and this is where this is not Coach Hallgirmsson's job, but it is the job of the Jamaican people, the federation, and the government to give the church, to give the coach, to give the to give the coach everything he needs, including the surfaces, and giving the players everything they need, which is quality surfaces to play. And you don't want your best player to come and be running and just have some injury that the club say, listen, we can't send them because every time they come back to us with injuries that are avoidable.
Yeah. And the other part of the same thing is that you make actually the players who come from the professional environment, you demotivate
Motivate,
them
yeah.
to bring them to such a surface because they are not used to it. This is below their standard. And why should we, as a national team, lower the standard of the players that are coming? Because if you lower a standard in one area, probably it lowers in another one.
Yeah.
Because he will lack motivation, etc. So I think it's really important to try to step all of these things everywhere. It's the hotel we are staying in. It's the food that we are eating. We have to step up to the level that they are used to keep them motivated. And I think they will be quick to see if we do the changes. They will appreciate all the
Yeah.
changes towards professionalism.
I'm glad that you brought that up because part of your overall plan. Because whenever I listen to you talk about football, from my experience with you, it is a lot of what you say happens before the team takes the pitch. Like you just said, the hotel that they stay in, the surface that they play in, the food. So when they come, and even those who are here, and I've heard this from you, that even a local player coming to the national team should have such an experience that he doesn't want to not be in the national team.
Yeah, exactly. And that is how it should be. They should feel really well when they come to first of all, they should be feeling welcome to come. But secondly, when they go, they would like to come again. The next match that is the quickest, the quicker the better to come to the national team. And that is how we will get players to fight to play for Jamaica, not refusing to come and play for Jamaica. It's like, and I know it's going to be like this. It's going to be a crowd outside the squad,
Right,
of players
wanting.
wanting to come in. So that is that is the atmosphere, and that is the thing that we like to build.
So that is it. So your one of your desire is that the players are treated so well, from surface to travel to accommodation to everything, that when they go back and tell others of their experience, I mean, you'll have players just knocking on the door, wanting to have that same experience. I want to play for Jamaica. When I listened to this player, when he came back to the club and he spoke to me about his experience in Jamaica, listen, talk to the coach about me because I'd love to come down there. That is the kind of environment, working environment you want to create in the national team.
Yeah, that's maybe a consequence of doing it. But the thing why we want to do it is that to maximize what the player who comes in can give us.
Yeah.
Both in experience, in respect to the national team, to us, and like you say, we like to have everything planned. When the players come, we've already done the meetings, so the meetings are ready, the sessions are ready, so everything from us is ready. We would like them to be ready as well, so we have to show that's the only way we can get respect is not to be doing this today and not tomorrow. Just constantly we are ready for what we want to do, and we are clear about how we're going to do it.
Right. So that is the off the field management and systems and structures and planning, right? That's what you're talking about. How things are managed, the systems that are in place. So even players know like who to speak to, where to go. Before they get here, they know how they're getting back to where they came from. They know their travel plan. They know what hotel they're staying in. They have their meal schedule. They have, the times of training. All of those things are there for them. And not only there, but when Coach Hallgirmsson says training begins at 10 o'clock, the players trust that at 10 o'clock, you're on the field and the bus don't turn up late and the equipment don't turn up late, but everything, because all of these things are critical to the international players, because this is what they're used to, and they don't want to come into an environment feeling like, whoa, what is this? But whoa, this reminds me of Liverpool. This reminds me of Arsenal. This reminds me of Man City. This reminds me of Barcelona.
It's about also respect. You gain the respect if everybody sees you trying your best, and you are improving. They will give you the slack of being maybe a little bit below what they are used to. But it's just wrong way of thinking to say we don't have the money to do this. We don't have the money to be professional, because all of this is investment. The pitches are investment. We will get better players. We will sell more players. And it's just what you're saying with doing it. If you take the grass, for example, again, you have a lot of players, people saying to me, we have so many talented players in Jamaica, but we are providing them with this grass. It's like if you have a son and he really, really likes to play football, he's good at football, but you don't want to give him the correct size of football boots, but you send him out in the wrong football boots. He would never become a good football player with a shoe that is six sizes bigger than his foot.
Yeah.
So it's just like that. If you have all of this talent, give them the best facilities to grow.
I see one of my persons saying, why didn't say Manchester United? And Manchester United. I'm very sorry to play, but that is important. Now, the players are pivotal to the process. How important it is to build team chemistry, to build team character. You did mention earlier that it is important that the players know what is expected of them. They know what the character of the team is, right? How important is that for them to understand that both those who are domestic, because you told me, management, the first thing we have to do is to, I remember I said to you the local players, and you said to me, we need to correct that, right? And I'm speaking to all of you who are listening. The coach said, we need to correct that, right? There are international players and domestic players, right? That's a better way to have the conversation, right? But even those who are domestic players and they need to know the character, what is expected of them, what they need to bring to the table so they can be a part of this team. And it is fair for them to know that if they are not selected, they can say, for example, well, I know I didn't meet the standard. They can be honest with themselves. And how do you get to that place? And what are some of those key things about the character of the players in a national team coached by Heimir Hallgirmsson?
So I would say from my experience that there are some things that are absolutely vital for a team to play good at this level and play good opponents, and we're hard to beat at least. So maybe we will not win all the good opponents, but at least we will give them a good game. So um, all players, all players, and the team as well has to be disciplined. That is one thing. So I would say a standard addition in a Jamaican national team player playing for my team in my head is he needs to be, and all professionals are disciplined. You don't need to have a lot of money for playing football to be a professional. You can be a professional in the league here. You are professional in mine. So on and off the pitch, you are professional.
So discipline, and that discipline has to do with being professional. If you are going to be a part of this team, whether you're playing domestic or international, you have to be the consummate professional,
Yeah.
which is a part of the discipline. All right, and that is not just on the field, but even off the field. That is expected at the national level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be focused, really focused. And you have a mission yourself as a person, as an individual, but it's the same for us. We need to be focused on the pitch, off the pitch. I think the biggest thing that players will be struggling is I need, and we need as Jamaicans for the national team to be set together of hard-working players, and meaning on the ball and off the ball. So we need hard-working players. I think these three things: to be focused, disciplined, to be
hardworking, and you hear that again: hardworking on the ball and off the ball. Now you have been watching. Let me just tell people. So you have watched games at Arnett Gardens, at Stadium East, at Westport Park in Montego Bay. I think you watch the next game at the UDC field in Montego Bay, some league game. Down there, you have watched games at Draxall. You have watched game you were at the Ashenine Stadium, and you watched
JC.
JC right up at JC, and you have also watched games. You still watch games. You follow the games on TV. All right, now when it comes on to off the ball, on the ball, how do you assess where the players who play locally are at in terms of that? Because a lot of them may be listening right now and they are wondering, well, they're probably saying to themselves, you know how we are sometimes, we not that we are disingenuine, but we always believe that we are doing everything that we're supposed to do until we are really shown up and we realize that no, we are not really doing it. But do you believe that some of these players need to at least the domestic players in terms of let me say it this way. I find that the off the ball work in our local league is not where it's supposed to be. Um, do you find that, or do you think like you know it, it it's at a place it needs to improve, but it's not bad? How do you assess it based on what you have observed so far
No,
following the
I
league?
think in general defensive work is okay here. It's different from in a national team environment when it's more more tactical defensive work done because of the ball possession of the team is really short here in Jamaica. So the ball is you're more or less fighting all the time to win the ball back.
Yeah.
So it changes owners. The ball changes owners really quickly. So I cannot say, but I think off the ball work is okay here. Can improve as well. But we were talking about so I'm a complete the list I was saying. So discipline, focused, hardworking, and then the player need to be a team player. He needs to be a team player, meaning he needs to understand his individual tactics and the team tactics. And in general, I would as a character, you use the word character a lot. So as a character, as a player, I would say all teams have two kinds of. It's best to categorize players in two categories. So it's players who will give energy and give joy to the group. So you give energy and you give joy to the group, or you suck energy and you suck the joy out of a group. So I would just split players normally in two groups, and say,
Okay.
this guy here, the sucker, he is not going to make it to the national team. You have to give. You have to give to improve the team. You have to give to improve the team.
So some pull and some give.
Yeah, you give to the squad, you give to the group, to the staff, and all of us, the coaches, the staff, the federation, we all have to give to make a good team.
Yeah. All right, and the same thing on the player. You spoke about the whole database. Now, we have, like I said, I mean, we're gonna come to some of your questions, right? But we need to get just to get out some other things. The database, right? There are over 1,600 players if you add all the players playing locally and those available all across Europe, in the Caribbean and North America, right? 1,600. Now, a squad is generally 40 players max. That's 2.5% of 1,600. So there's 1,560 players that probably will not be called. How does this database work? Because, like I said, when you came, you got a whole list of names. Now, what do you do? Because you won't know everybody. You can't follow everybody. How does the database work? What are the different layers on it? So, persons listening now will understand. Okay, all right. Well, I am in pool B, C, D, A, whatever. How does it? Yeah.
No, we will probably not categorize players in groups, but
Okay.
it's maybe age groups. Yes,
Yeah.
age groups. But now the difference in general, now the difference. I'm coming here, and you said it's impossible for me to scout and know everything about 1,000 players. Or let's just narrow it down to 500 players, maybe 500 players who could play for the national team. It's just impossible for me, and we are talking 2 months at the job. So most of my time now has gone to do this database. So what I do is the players who have played, I start with them, and then it's about finding the next best players, or even the better players than we had before. So now I have probably 200, 250 players on my database. So I have the face of the player, the name, the club he's playing at, and his age. And then when I click the player, I have his data, how many games he's played for Jamaica, etc. And if it's a player I think I'm going to pick, I'm going to watch some games with him, and then I'm going to add some of my information to it about him. So this is going to be bigger and bigger and bigger every day. And when the next coach comes in for Jamaica, he will have this. Yeah. So it's a much easier job for him to scout what the possibilities are. And I think this is really important, because probably before and now, today, it's if there's a player who wants to join Jamaica, maybe he's a Jamaican playing abroad, if he wants to be known, it's through some individual, and the individual will call. But it shouldn't be like that. It should be the JFF should know more or less of every player around. So it's not about knowing someone or calling someone or getting through someone to be in the national team. It should be in a structured way. So this is most of my time, not only to build a database for the JFF, but also for myself to get to know as many players as possible. So I don't want to miss out a good one. So one of the reasons I'm telling you, what I want in a Jamaican national team player: the focus, the discipline, the hard working, the team player. Yeah. If he has an individual skill on top of these things, fantastic. But it doesn't work backwards.
Okay.
So you don't start with individual skill, and then I'm going to learn to be professional. I'm going to learn to be focused.
So first, you have to be professional, focused, You have to be
Discipline,
disciplined, a team
hardworking.
player,
Yeah,
and
hardworking team player.
hardworking. And then the individual
Then
skill.
if you have that one, you're in the team.
Okay. So if I have great individual talent and skill and ability, but no discipline, I'm not focused, I'm not a hard worker, my individual skill is not enough.
They don't count for much in a national team environment. You could probably make it to a good team somewhere that needs an individual, but for a national team, it just doesn't work.
That is awesome. So players, you're hearing that, right? I hope you're hearing that. You're hearing that. So it doesn't start with the individual skill at the national level. Discipline, hard work, focus, team player, and discipline, hard work, team player, focus.
Is it professional?
Prof-
Professional team player, you said. Yeah.
There you go. Right. So that's where it starts. And if you have individual skill, great. And I know that there is one person, one of the major operators of business. He always said this, that he'd rather take somebody with known talent and good character, because you can develop on talent, but it's very hard to change people's character, which is what you're saying. The character of the player is more important in the national setup than the talent of the player in the national setup. Now, some of this including it going cause it require you to change the culture, because I mean, um, just how do we, what does a national coach do in terms of changing the culture and the mindset, I mean, of the players? I mean, we have been in a system, even the fan base, because there are so many, there are close to 400 listening to you, and part of what we have we have grown accustomed to failures. We have had a fail under 20, fail under 17, a failed female under 17, fail male under 17. So it's hard, and even running this platform sometimes it is hard, because even when there's progress being made, we see like the failure of the under 17, and deep down in our hearts we believe that we could have done better. Now, how 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 can you encourage the people out there who have seen since 1998 failure after failure? Like, how do we believe again that this is a real change?
No. You started with talking about the culture.
Yeah.
And what is it in the culture that we need to change? What is it in the culture that we need to change? We have to realize that first.
Yeah.
So what I said before, I think not only for the players, it's the coaching staff, the staff around the JFF needs to be more focused and disciplined, needs to be more professional. So what can we do to change the culture? We need to start from within. Always the culture starts from within. So if I want my players to be, on time, giving always their 100% in every training, being 100% focused on training, in meetings, when they are eating, etc. I will have to do that myself. So I start with myself. So I will have to be all of those things that I ask of my players. This is how we start to change a culture. So meaning that I would start with myself. So every time I come, I'm always ready. I'm always prepared. So the players will respect what I am doing. Then they will start to improve themselves in the same areas. So the only thing I can ask from someone else is to be that myself. And the JFF has to be the same. So they have to be professional to get the respect back to them. So it starts with us. And I feel that it's genuine. They really want to change things. I know it's going to be difficult, and it's always the question of money, but the investment needs to be done now, because we are saying we are going to the World Cup in 2026. So we have to start to invest now in these things to be more professional in everything we do. And this is how we gain respect, first from the players, then from the fans, and then from everybody else, and in the end, from our opponents.
Yeah, that is so important, because the change begins in us. I want to just re-emphasize that the change you want to see in the players, it begins in us. No, we want to qualify right now. We want to win right now. We want to beat Mexico in the next game. We want to beat Trinidad. We want to go to the Gold Cup, and we want to win the Gold Cup. No, right? And we could put what they call it, band-aid over a wound, and it looks good for a while, but you get a hit on it, you still feel it. Is this long term? And people need to be patient, including the administration, and allow the process to play out. Like Arteta at Arsenal would say, trust the process. Or is this something that will be done? Like, people can expect everything to turn around.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. All good things happen slowly, they say.
Yes.
There's a sentence that says that. I use often, there are no shortcuts to a place worth coming to. There are no shortcuts
To a place
worth coming to. And that goes so much for this process, I would say. I think the negative thing about Jamaicans is that you're really opinionated people. Even a priest has a football podcast because he thinks he knows everything about football. But
People, you see, stones are being thrown at Management. Even the priest have a football podcast because he thinks he knows everything about football.
no, I think it's typical Jamaican. You have opinion, even though maybe you don't know the big picture. I know you know a lot about football. I'm joking. I'm using you as a metaphor here.
No, yeah, go ahead.
So what is important for us is to explain what we are doing, why we are doing things, and this is why I think it's good to come in a podcast speaking in not my mother language. I think a lot of people struggling with my English, but I'm trying my best though.
You're doing fantastic. People, isn't he doing fantastic? You'd think like he speaks very, very, very good English, but you're doing very well. But go ahead and continue with what you're saying.
No, that is I think it's so good for us to start to now explain in bits what we are trying to achieve. So for the players, for the people, for the fans to know what is our first step, our second step, and our third step. And now we are creating a working environment. I think it worked really well in the first two camps.
Yeah.
Now we've done similar things with domestic players when we are doing the sessions in Kingston, and I feel like they enjoy working in this environment.
Okay.
So that is the first thing. But we are going to the World Cup in 2026, but I hope we can do some good things before that, because I know a football coach is always judged upon his results.
Yeah. But also, you have been having some camps so far, and I know that you have tried to engage local coaches to be a part of it, because you want to also pour knowledge back into the coaches. And so the question is, how receptive have you found the coaches? I know even Grim, um, Gumi was here, the goalkeeper coach, and he did a session, I think last week, where coaches were invited so they could go back. How have those things been going? How receptive have the local coaches been in terms of what you want to do, in terms of not just, like I said, for the national team, but to spread the knowledge all across Jamaica?
No, like I'm doing here, I like to share the things that we are trying to do. So number one, people understand
Yeah.
them what we are trying to. If they can take something from it, is good. I'm happy if they can take something from what we are trying to do. Now, I think from looking at the recent games for Jamaica, I think the defensive part is maybe the one that needs the most fixing. So I'm focusing really on the defensive part at the moment, because that is the foundation you build everything else on. If you don't have a good defense, then you will never win games where there's like an equal game, or even you're playing individually better team than us. You can still win if you have a good defense. So I'm starting on that, and I'm sharing my ideas. I'm getting other opinions back, which is really good. There's never a one way to do things. So I just like to share what I am doing with the coaches. Of course, I cannot share everything because I don't like the opponents to know what we are doing. But these basic things, I think is really vital, and I am sharing that with the coaches that want to come and speak, etc. So yeah, I've been happy
Yeah.
with that. At Gumi is a little bit different thing. We are also scouting the goalkeeper, so we invite the goalkeeper coaches with the goalkeepers to come, so we can work with both with the goalkeeper coaches and the
And the
young talented goalkeepers.
right? The other thing is that you have had two games so far, one draw, one defeat. We're very close to winning the Cameroon game until Abu Bakr, I think his name, got the equalizer. Um, Two different teams really that went. One was predominantly the local base players, the domestic
base players.
people have to help, right? The domestic players. The one against Argentina we thought was a very credible performance. Um, Two pieces of magic by Lionel Messi,
Or lack of focus.
or lack of focus. How do you evaluate both games? What are some of the differences?
So I really think afterwards, before I was really against both these matches. To be honest, I have to be honest here.
I think the second one in particular.
Knowing the first one as a newcomer coach, in
Yeah,
in 1 week, or I think I had like
A couple of days.
2 weeks or 3 weeks to think about even, and I had 2 days to prepare a team to play now the world champions. So I thought it was really unfair to a new coach. But okay,
Baptism of fire.
I said to the staff, yeah, let's do it. We will get a lot of answers, and it was a really good one. We've used a lot of clips because, of course, a team like Argentina will show every weakness, will expose every weakness you have in the team. So we have a lot of clips, both good and bad, that we can use to take the next step. So yeah, for about 85 minutes, I was really pleased. And then 5 minute chapter, we conceded 2 goals. Then we went all the way to Africa with domestic based players, which I did not understand why we needed to go all the way to Africa.
I know one of the things you said is that whatever we do, we need to know what is the football reason. That's like one of the big mantras of here. What is the football reason?
Yeah, we need football reasons to go all the way to Africa to play
One
a
game.
match. Yeah. So, but at least we had, I think, 3 days to prepare. So I could at least work a little bit with the players. Even 4 days prior to the match, we could work in Cameroon. So it was good to get to know them. That was the good thing about it. But I could have done that in Jamaica. But then the match was quite good. A nation going to the World Cup, and we had probably 60-70% was playing here in the Jamaican league, and it was just starting. So it was players even without much fitness, and I think we did really well. It was a good first step for them.
Yeah, awesome. So, all right, that's awesome. Now, I mean, ideally, you need a lot of games with your core player. Again, just speaking in terms of some of the fans, we feel we felt in the last campaign that some of the core players remain core players for too long. Like there was no changing out of some of the players. But we also understand that you almost have to have a core group of players that they're as long as they're fit, they're they're there to maintain chemistry in the squad. All right, how long and how many games between now and the campaign, and what are the quality of the opponents we need to face so you can have enough time to prepare your team for the
Mhm.
not just to qualify for the World Cup, but to go there in CONCACAF and go beyond any place we have gone in the World Cup, coming out of the zone. Because we believe that that is possible, that we can. We don't know what the zone would be. We believe that we can come out of the zone. In terms of games, what amount of games you need to play, and the quality of games you need to play to kind of, yeah, I think I can settle with these 60 players, these 40 players, these 30 players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not a magic number of matches. It's about the players, how quickly they adapt to what we want. It could take just one game and we are ready if we are efficient in what we are doing. So it can be quick, but it can take a long time to find let's say the 11, 12, 13 players that we will build the team around. But today the focus is really wide from the coach. So he's looking at a lot of players, and this focus needs to narrow down. And for example, now these matches that is coming, we used to we try to use that to narrow the focus.
Yeah.
So these are good enough. These are not good enough. So we played 2 matches here against Trinidad, one game away in Mexico, and then in Guatemala against Guatemala in New York. So what we want to do with these 4 matches is to give as many players a chance to play. We could have taken the same team and played that team in all the matches, but we like to see as many players actually play so we can evaluate them from what they're doing on the pitch. And this will be kind of the cost in these 4 matches, that we would like to see as many players play. So instead of taking, let's say we have 2 players, one is a little bit better than the other one. So instead of taking those players, number 1 and 2, to Mexico and play number 1 and not play number 2, we like the player number 2 to play Guatemala
Okay.
or the Trinidad matches. So that is how we see. We like to see a lot of players, so we can have as good squad as possible when we go to the World Cup. But to make a complete team for the World Cup qualifiers, I don't think we have. And now looking at just the FIFA windows, I don't think we have chance to do a lot of friendlies with the best players we have because of the schedule. So we have now the Gold Cup this summer. So and the Nations League, and in June window prior to the Gold Cup, we have to play a semi-final and a final in the Nations League because we're going to win in Mexico. So we have that's official matches. That's official matches. Then we play the Gold Cup in the summer.
Yeah.
And then next summer it's Copa America. So we need to play games to qualify for the Copa America. So 6 teams from CONCACAF will join the nations from South America next summer. So the qualifiers for that need to start. So we need to use some of the FIFA windows for that. So official games again. Then we have Gold Cup coming up the year after that, and we need to qualify for them. So I think more or less, and then we have the World Cup qualifiers, and that needs, I think it's 8 teams in the group, yes?
That's a final. At the final stage is the 8 teams. So, but before that, there are normally some games, and depending on where you're ranked, so if you're not in like the top 6 or top 8, you play some other qualifying. But we will be in the.
So if we just imagine, then we play 7 teams home and away, meaning we need 7 FIFA windows just for the qualification for the World Cup.
Yes.
So that's 1 year and a half. Plus we have 1 Gold Cup, we have 1 Copa America, and we have another Gold Cup. So I think all the FIFA windows will be occupied with official matches.
Yeah.
So that is then probably our we tried to use our strongest team in all the official matches. So what we need now is more friendlies for the guys who are not maybe in that group. So off FIFA windows.
Yeah.
So we need to find times. I
Whoa.
think January is really good for example, the domestic based players to
Yeah.
play. So January when they are in season.
All right. So if I mean on the very various YouTube platforms, the vloggers, there's always this dialogue about, oh my God, we have a vast amount of talent, especially in the United Kingdom. Players who have Jamaican connection, and so some people will say they need to reach out. Some says the federation needs to reach out, and some are saying that how can the federation know all the players who could possibly play for Jamaica when some of the players don't even know that they can play for Jamaica? All right, is it part of your plan to ensure that if we have top talent in the Premier League and in the Championship in England or other places around the world, who have a desire to represent Jamaica, that a system is in place where they can move from having the desire to donning the national colors? And we ask that. I know people are going to say, oh, that's a very... I ask that because we believe we missed out on many players in the last campaign. And you'd have heard some of those things. Do you have plans to ensure that whatever system I put in place, even after I'm gone, that player in Belgium, that player in England, that player in Italy that says, I want to represent Jamaica, he has an easy pathway in, not into the team and into the starting 11, but to get from his desire to citizenship to passport to, if the coach wants me, I'm ready.
Yeah, this is work in process from us. So number one, because there is no structured way today. So again, it's just down to I call this guy, he will help me or not help me, and there's no real scouting. Is really enthusiastic people doing the scouting and then coming with the names to the JFF, and then it just depends on who they talk to. Some is interested, some is not interested. But it should be a way. If a player, if a Jamaican would like to play for Jamaica, he should at least have a pathway of going for that. So it should be like a committee or a group of people who is overseeing these things. Because as of now, it's really just haphazard what happens. So it should be a committee. So if a player wants to play for Jamaica, he can have a phone number from the JFF. Just call this one, and then you will be directed and assisted if that is, the wish to assist. So I think everybody should have at least that information how they could do it, because you should not deny anyone the chance to fight to play for Jamaica that wants it. So that is, I think, it's an absolute key. Then you mentioned the scouting, and funny enough, we have accessed now a software company that has all the information. So we have a lot of names of players with a Jamaican heritage. We have a lot of people that know someone. So if there is a number that you should call and tell, that, let's say you're the chairman of that group, and then your number is on the website. And if
listen, coach is just hypothetically speaking.
No, you're hired now.
I'm not sure. You see,
no, I mean it should be like this. So there should be a group scouting.
Yeah.
And especially for the future of Jamaica, is like you said, a lot of players, both here and abroad, that have Jamaican parents or Jamaican grandparents. Why shouldn't they play for Jamaica? It just would be unfair. And the worst thing is that if we don't play them, England will play them, or someone else will play them. So why should England take our? I say ours now. I'm Jamaican. Should take your biggest talents. It should be us to have we should have the first core, and get them their right to play if they want to play. So
And some of these players, right? Let me tell you something that came up. So I have these friends. I think a couple of them are on 101 on Arsenal. He's one of those persons. He did this whole thing with the movie that Arsenal did. He was a whole part of it, right? And one of the things he expressed,
I don't know what Arsenal was.
he supports Liverpool people, right? He supports Liverpool. His entire household supports Liverpool, but they all have the Arsenal jersey, right? Because it has the Jamaican colors. So let's see. But one of the things he said is that sometimes the conversation, um, the players who are in the United Kingdom don't feel appreciated. It's almost like they feel that they are not accepted where they are because they are in England. They are not accepted, but where they are from, where their heritage is from, don't welcome them.
Mhm.
So they are really like out there. Can you? I mean, it's very hard for you as a coach to kind of break because you don't want to be the one calling, "Hey, John Brown, do you have Jamaican?" And the next thing he believes, well, the coach called me. You can't call me and then don't put me in the team, right? So you probably have to be away from the process at some level.
No, it shouldn't be the national team coach should not get involved in this. But I'm here hypothetically talking about like let's say a 16 or 17 or 18-year-old that will play with the Jamaica under 19, under 21, etc. Even under 15, what level? But we don't have projects going on. So that should be consistent. We should go to if we have so many players in England, we should have a camp in England for those players.
Yeah.
Like we have a camp in Jamaica for Jamaicans.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
it's just, I think that is just fair. And then we can see the players, are they better than the ones here at this moment? So, yeah, I think that is something. But all of this costs money. But like I said before, we have to invest now because the future will come, we being ready or not. The future will come.
Yeah.
We being ready or not.
I can tell you that even in this chat right now, there are persons who would help to finance a camp in England, which is why we need to tap into the diaspora, we call it, because I don't you know that we have more Jamaicans living outside of Jamaica than in Jamaica, and I will go as far as saying this: there is more financial wealth in the people living outside of Jamaica than those living in Jamaica.
Then we just need to push this
Yeah.
process going.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So I know recently they started this under 15 camp. So they're having the next one in March in Florida.
Mhm.
But like I said, we should have this. We should be looking at having something in London or in Birmingham where we are bringing. Oh, so these guys, all of these are like super chats, right? So they're just putting it to show you that they have money. Right. So, but that is something I think we should do. That with the federation should put on these, like I said, these camps, because we have also have Marcus Gill, who is in the academy system, Ricardo Fuller, Ricardo Gardner, Darrell Powell, Darrell Moore, Joby McAnuff.
Could even be these guys could even oversee this project.
Yes, all of these guys are in England and they have represented Jamaica.
But, can I just jump in with one thing?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we should do more for the players in Jamaica. It doesn't mean it's not like
Right.
we are only going to look at them and not the. We should do more for this age group because we are doing so little for the players that will actually be peaking in their career in 2026. So at the moment we don't have we're not doing anything with the under 21 or under 19, and these players will be peaking in their career in 2026. And we say we're going to be there in the World Cup, and we are doing nothing now for the players that will be in the prime age in 2026. If you look at the World Cup now, the best players, the Guardiol, Gakpo,
Oh,
the Enzo Fernandez. It's all 21 years old. These guys, 20 and younger, all the best players that have now been sold for hundreds of millions.
that is true.
And
So really and truly, though we have, for example, a Mikel Antonio and a Leon Bailey, we should be looking at the 17-year-old, because in 2026, that 18-year-old will be the Gakpo or be the Enzo, because there will be
could be.
yeah, could be right. Okay,
So
okay.
we should at least not do nothing for them and think they will become good in 226.
Yeah.
But they have to step up if they want to be better than the current players, like you talked about, Mikel Antonio or Leon Bailey. They set the standard, and these guys have to be
Up
better
to
than them at that time.
Yeah, right. All right. So listen, I'd love, and I mean, I can tell you that there are many persons here that if there's a diaspora committee, like, and we have the same thing in the United States, because uh, one of the things with me is that persons will often call me. Right. All right. Cool. So let me tell you this one, people. All right. This is another thing, right? So, I got some information recently, right? And I said, Coach, here's a, I just got this player. Here's a player, and I mean, he's very cool, right? But I kind of, he basically kind of said, listen, so who's this player? Like, why would you send this to me, basically? Which is true. Like, what are the criterias that what makes me a scout that puts me in a position to be sending a player to the to the national coach? It cannot be like random persons just see a guy, thinks he looks good, and say, coach, here is a player. There has to be, like I said, a structured system where someone who knows the character of the team, the the hard work, the discipline, the team player, the professionalism, all of those things. Somebody who knows those things from the coach says, okay, here are the 5 players or the 10 players playing in the championship in midfield, in defense, because I know you're, and then based on that you get the final look. But it can't be just everyone just think, okay, this player should be, this player should be, because everyone can't be a scout.
You cannot imagine how many people come to me and say, Coach, I have a good player, really a good player for you. Everyone has a quick fix for me, but I'm at the moment I know so little about all the so I listen, I write down the names, and sometimes I when I've scouted the players, looked at them and said, why am I spending time on this when I should be? But this is the negative thing of not knowing, you know, and like I said before, the focus is so wide at the moment, and I need to narrow it down, and hopefully I can use these 4 matches to narrow it really down for the Gold Cup at least, and then we start the process again.
Yeah. All right. So people, the coach, he did say he wants to interact with you, right? Do you want them to call? Because they can call and ask. You can call.
Whatever.
You can call, or you can.
I can catch them, but I can catch you. So I'm a little bit exposed.
All right. So I will give. We have around 20 minutes to go, right? So you can call, or if you have a question. So now you may have put a question all the way up in the beginning. You have to retype it, and I'll bring it up on the screen, and so the coach can answer. But and I'm going to limit your time because several persons are going to want to call. All right, so you can call in at this time. Oh, we already have a caller. Look at this.
Maybe a request not to talk about individual players.
Yeah. No. So right. So we won't. Don't ask about individual players. All right. Go ahead, caller. Welcome.
Hello, good night.
Good night.
Yes, caller. You're listening. Or you're listening to what is going on. You have to stop that if you want to be a part. All right.
I'm listening and I actually just happy.
All right.
Good evening, manager.
Yeah, man. So go ahead. Go ahead and
good
shoot your
evening.
question.
Good evening, Sir Remy.
Good evening.
Yeah, I just want to say I've been watching the program for about half an hour. There's a lot of good message coming from the whole stream, and also I am optimistic, but I can say that I'm confident that we're gonna do a good job with you. And there's much more things to say right now, but I'm just trying to kind of pursue the opportunity to come on and knowing that management makes it possible. I just had to take the time out to take this call and share that. And we the Jamaican people, I'm sure I'm not the only person here, is looking forward to see what you have to put towards Jamaican football and a whole. But as I said, we're confident that you will do a great job.
Thank you. I will at least try my best. I didn't get all the beginning. Did you? Was there a question involved in it? Did you hear it?
A question?
No, he didn't have a question.
no.
He was just
No.
commenting you. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I'm just commenting for now. I'm friend of management, so maybe we'll meet one day.
All right. Yeah, man. All right then, Kibo.
Thank you. At least I promise you, we will do our best. We will do our best.
Yeah.
All right, Kibo.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, man. All right. We have a next caller. All right. Let's see. Make sure this one. All right, you can call back caller. We have a next one coming in. There's a question, Coach. Coach, how is this group of players looking in the local camp? I think the players that you're working with.
Yeah, I've been really happy with these guys. We've done now two camps with around 30 players, and then in between, I am alone. Both my assistant coach John Wall and Gume, the goalkeeper coach, come every other week. So in between, I've done a defensive training with only defenders, and I really like that one. I think we videotaped it, and I think we can do coaching education around that one. Now, I've been really happy with the players. They have been receptive. The only thing that I think we are missing is the tempo in everything that we are doing. If we're bringing together all the best players in the Jamaican league, the tempo should automatically go up, and this is what we need to improve. It seems to be, for me at least a little bit slow tempo, but really good guys. They've been focused and taking on board what we have to say, and for sure trying the best. So I have expressed gratitude to the coaches and the clubs that allow them to come for these sessions, because it's not normal or not like natural that you would send a player in midweek when you have a game during the weekend for a national team training.
All right, we have a call online, and Demo, welcome to the show. Good evening.
Yes, sir. Good evening, management, and good evening to Sir Grim, fellow Liverpool fan here. Well, really quickly, what are some of the similarities that you would have for this Jamaican team as when you were coaching Iceland? I know 4-4-2 was your formation most of the time, probably not all the time, but 4-4-2. Is that what you're going to be using going forward? And is there any similarities between that Iceland team and the Jamaica team that you can, push us forward with?
Similarities, yes. I think both nations know that they need to change a lot of things. That is a big similarity. For sure, it's more individual talent in the Jamaican squad than it was in Iceland. So better individuals in the Jamaican national team. You have 5 or 6 players play in the best league in the world. So English league is now the super league in the world. So the best league in the world. You have 5 players there. You have a lot of players in the championship. You have a lot of players in the MLS. I think when we had the best, or the most number of players playing in England, we had 3. I think that's the highest number of Icelandic players playing in the English league at the same time. But we have players playing even in Sweden, in Norway, in Denmark, in lower lower leagues, but still we managed to make a good team out of these individuals. So I expect and I hope that we can build a stronger team with the Jamaicans if we put in a good structure for them. So similarities, yes, but I think individual quality is better now.
All right.
All right, awesome. Thanks a lot, coach. You'll never walk alone.
Thank you.
All right, Dima. All right, we go. People, if you hear someone on, it's not good. All right, so this one says, "Big up my coach for me, man's man." Right, this is Data Boss right there. He gave a super chat. So he's bigging you up.
So,
right.
So you're getting paid for this now?
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're sure that they have money. But let me take this one, and then there's a question online. Welcome to the show, caller. What's your name?
Well, good night. This is Kevin. Pleasant night, coach.
Hi, Kevin.
As well as those in the fun. Yeah, what I want to ask, and I don't hope I don't get in any trouble for it, is do you have full autonomy over the senior Reggae Boyz squad? And what is the average age would you like to get the squad down to for the World Cup qualifier?
Good question. Autonomy, I control everything. No. I think it's a little bit it's not structured. But for sure I decide now the matches we play is my decision if we take the matches that are offered or not. It's me who chooses the team, that is for sure. And then I will try to have my influence in administrative things, not to push, but to just to help what I know works, just to help with the administrative things. And the second question was,
what is the average age?
The average, a good question. And I really need for people to know that from my eyes, it doesn't matter if a player is 37, like a Messi, or he is 17. If he is good enough, he will play. So if there's two players equally as good, the younger players is probably going to take the place. So I don't mind the age if the player is good enough. And the senior team should always be put together of the best players available, no matter their age. So I don't care if it's a 17-year-old or 16-year-old. If he is better than the one that's already playing, he will play. But if he is a 40-year-old and he's still the best, then he will play. So I don't mind the age, but of course we have to think about the younger players, and we have to do everything to help them develop, both as Jamaican national team players and also in their clubs. And we have to give them chances to play. Hope I answered that question.
All right, Kevin. Thank you for that. We're going to take another one.
Yeah, well, coach. All right, thank you, and I wish you all the success.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
All right. Sorry about that. We have. Go ahead, caller, quickly. What is the question for the coach?
Good night, man. Good night, coach.
Night.
My question is to the coach. Are you aware of all the players eligible to play for Jamaica in the EPL? Like, for instance, in Everton, we would have a Damari Gray, a Dwight McNeil, a Mason Oldgate, a Ben Godfrey. And like in a Brentford, we would have like a Rico Henry and an Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
And like in the West Ham, there'd be like a Ben Johnson. So I just wanted to know if you're aware of most of the talent that Jamaica have in the EPL.
Yeah.
Good show, man. And that's my question, coach.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for that question. Yeah, I know a lot of players. Like I said before, we've been scouting the possibilities. We've trying to put all of these players in the database, and that is what we need to do in the future. Not only to know of them, but to contact them. It would be an absolute shame if the player decides to play for some other country, and he would say, but Jamaica never approached me. That would be a real shame if he then starts to play for another nation and we never approached them. So we try to file all the players.
Yeah. All right. That caller has gone. We have a next caller. Hold on, caller. Somebody said I need to tell you what big up means. You know what big up mean? Coach knows
No,
that.
no.
You don't know what big up mean?
No.
Like, I thought you knew that. But I thought that. You
What's
don't
a-
want to
what's
know
a
that.
big up?
like, how do I say that? Wagwan is everything.
Aye.
So big up mean what the respect, a lot of respect. And,
Big up. Big up.
Right? That's what it means, right? Respect. Like they're saying that, coach, we respect you. We have a lot of respect for you. we bigging you up, we're saying that you're the general. You know what that means? Right? I don't know how to say
It's
it. Right?
English lessons now.
Yeah. All right, we have a call online. Caller, ask your question, and then we will take a next one. Go ahead.
Bless up yourself, big coach.
Bless yourself.
Coach,
man.
no, coach,
Like,
you have to speak to the coach so you can understand what you said.
coach, I say, coach, I learn. Me, I got talk about the coach. I have to learn like this too. Coach, let me ask you. Let me say, congratulations for coming on the show and giving yourself to us, the fans of this podcast and of the reggae team, all things Jamaica. I would like to ask you, could you make it? Is it possible that at least one every Friday you can come sit down and
Again, at least.
give us some of this?
That's, you're breaking up. Caller. Are you asking if the coach can do this every Friday?
What going on? Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's possible, listen, let me tell man, why I ask this, where
No.
I'm living, I see every coach, most coaches, players and people combine with other people and have their podcast. This would be a great thing for the platform and exposure for the coach and everything. If he can come on. You see how the people turn out today because they know the coach was on. We need more of this. So people in the comment, all of you all in there who have not yet liked the video, please go ahead and like the video right now because you are enjoying the content. I see we have over 400 and we only have 200 likes. So show appreciation for Management to be on the coach by liking up the video. Coach, have a great time in Jamaica. One day we'll meet. I don't have any question to ask you. I'm watching to see the progress moving forward because I have confidence to do it. Make it to another level.
I want to answer that, even though it wasn't a question.
All right, Paddy. Listen to the coach's answer. All right. Yeah.
For sure. It would be nice to be every week here with Manning's man. I see also he's making a lot of money on it, so he probably as well like to have me here every week. But I think my biggest, like I said before, my biggest job is to coach the national team. But it is necessary to share so people know what they should be supporting. So they should know how we're going to do things and why we are playing this way and etc. So you talked yesterday about unity.
Yeah, yesterday.
And how can you create unity unless you have clarity?
Yeah.
So the only way to build a unity around the national team is to have clarity, why they are doing the things that they are doing, why they are playing the way they are doing it, and things like this. And I like to be judged on the things I'm trying to do. I don't like to be judged on things and criticized for things I'm not trying to do. Because somebody else, if they don't know what we are doing, then they will criticize us for things that we are not trying.
Yeah. All right.
This question has been here, and I really don't understand it. How successful was your trip to England?
If you can give a number of new players who were interested. I think the person is trying to ask if you went to England and if you met players who are interested in representing the national team. I don't think, but you can.
Yeah. Just to answer this, I think it would be, if I talk to players, it would be unprofessional to
come and speak about that platform.
Speak about that.
Yeah. That's why we said we don't want to speak about individual players because there's a people may call names, but you have to be careful because some things are not settled yet, and you don't want to come out and say certain things.
And I don't myself. I don't like to get involved with
the player stuff because you're the coach.
Should be the JFF. Should be some kind of process if we go to this.
All right. We have Bertram online. Welcome to the show.
My name's Man. Trying to reach a program is trying to reach the Pope tonight. So you must have a very interesting guest on. And I would say it's been a very enjoyable and informative conversation. But I'm very much focused on the product. So it's very similar to the question just being asked, but I'll rephrase the question. So my question to the coach is, what's the biggest impediment that you've seen so far? Because I'm focused on the product in sourcing players. It's a three-part question. Secondly, it's related to the question you just got, which is, have they been reached out since you've been the coach to players, and how has the reception been so far today? So I'm not asking for names. It's a general conversation in terms of as we think about players and trying to source them for the campaign.
So you got all three?
Yeah, you ask them. I answer them.
No. I think so. Go to the first.
So number one, I know there's been a lot of contact through various sources to players. I've heard of some. Yeah, I've heard of some. Myself has only talked to two players. One was a really negative, and the other one was we'll see. So that was the two players I have gotten involved with, and I only like to get involved with if I think they're going to really, really improve the national team. But I know of a lot of contacts through 2-3 sources, guys that are fanatic supporters of Jamaican football. But it should be more structured. If I can have a say on this, it should be a structured way of approaching, of scouting, of filing everything that is, all the communication. So the JFF, if this coach goes and another one comes in, or if this administration goes and another administration comes in, and still the file is there. So it's the same with our database on the players. It's an ownership of the JFF, not like people all around that is really trying to help Jamaica. But we should do it with them, but in a structured way.
And the second one was that answered everything.
No, I'll stop because I don't want to dominate the line because it's very busy. Thank you, coach.
Well, I was waiting on a call to come in. What you can do is just you can ask the second part of the question until the next call.
I'm going to skip that. So the coach had a generalized answer. My question is, coach, has your mandate been clearly defined? Because I didn't seem to truly get that from the conversation I've so far, which is some coaches come in and they manage the team, just the team, and involving infrastructure, then involving sponsorship and marketing. Is your mandate clearly defined, or is it being determined as you go along?
Yeah, I think is not 100% defined. If I don't know all the words, but I think I understood the concept of the question. But no, I am here to try to help in every way. I come with ideas from my experience. I put them on the table, and then it's what is possible that they can do. What do they want to do? If they say, no, we cannot do this, then okay. But as far as, like I said before, what is my main role? And I think at the moment, my main role is to try to build a good team for the Gold Cup. And that is such a big job at the moment for a coach that doesn't know the culture, the football culture, the players, etc., even opponents. So we are starting from zero. So I think at the moment that's a big enough job.
Right, and this is a loaded question, so you don't have to answer it. Do you believe that you've been given the support you expected so far in your tenure?
Difficult to answer because I really didn't know what to expect when I came. But of course, like, I think I'm going to be like a politician here.
I've been supported.
All coaches would like more support. It doesn't matter where they are. All coaches, you can talk to any coach everywhere. They always would say, yeah, I would prefer a little bit more support. I think even Guardiola wants some more support. So, yeah, what I expected before, I just didn't know what I was stepping into.
All right. Thank you, Cranky.
And here's my last point, Manningsman, which is I agree with Gunner's boss. I agree with Gunner's boss, which is we would love to have the coach's corner going forward, whether weekly or bi-weekly. Have a good night.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Right. You know what that is?
Yeah, so coach, have you given coaches instruction how to develop youth players?
That's it?
Yeah, no. Have you given coaches instructions about how to develop youth players that you want for your system? And how involved are you in coaching education? So,
and then is this a part of it as well, or that's something?
It's the same. It's the same.
It's the same. Okay.
Yeah. So it's an Icelandic, an Icelander listening to your podcast.
I'm telling you.
So yes, I.
All right, hold on, Carla.
I want to be involved with the coaching education at least a little bit, and I am now trying to share what I want from the players. And then I will do the tactical maybe explanations later. But gaman að fá því í þáttinn, ég veit ekki stóð ekki hvað þú heitir, en gaman að fá því í þáttinn og ég endilega sláða mig og þetta fylgjast með fótbolta í Jamaica.
Oh, so he answered in English and then he answered in Icelandic. Carla, welcome to the show.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
All right. My question is two-part. I'd like to ask the coach. Some players in the past had special privileges. Like, them could say, there are rumors about some would say that I'm not coming unless another player was coming, and the other player was to come. So with those stuff, would you work on those things in present? And in the case of the pitches, these artificial turf fields, is there any way that you're in your plans of how you're going to get those turf fields in places such as Catherine's Hall and the National Stadium?
All right, caller. Thanks for the question. So you can listen for the answers, and I will repeat the question for you. All right?
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. I think the caller is asking one, do you have any plans in terms of the surfaces? But I think you answered that earlier. So what I'd say is if the caller could probably, because we don't want to go back over stuff. I think he answered that.
No, maybe towards the artificial. He mentioned the artificial pitches.
Yeah.
I think it's a good solution. If we cannot fix the natural grass pitches, then we have to go for the artificial, because that is quite good, and they're always improving. A lot of pitches in Iceland is artificial, and they are quite good.
Yeah, and the other part
it was a privileged player, something.
Right. So the other part of the question, he was saying, in the past there have been situations where when some players were called, I think he's saying they would not turn up. But again, I think, right, and he saw that as them being given special privilege. But I think you kind of answered that when you spoke about the quality of the treatment that the players receive, that they want to be here. So, but I mean, you could take it.
No. I just also like to emphasize that what happens in the past, I hope that stays in the past.
Yeah.
And I would judge players upon what they do for us now. And for the team now, so going forward, I hope whatever was in the past just stays in the past, and we have a chance to rebuild everything, and everybody has a clean slate.
Yeah. All right, we have Ryan LFC on the call.
I like that name, LFC.
Yeah. LFC. He supports the wrong team. But Ryan, welcome to the show.
Good evening, Coach Hallgirmsson. Good evening to you, Manningsman. And good evening to all the people down in the comment section. Manningsman, I want to congratulations to you. Massive show. I feel like I'm winning the lotto, Bridget, because, we love to see this YouTuber getting all of these things. You understand? So I really do appreciate Coach Hallgirmsson coming on the platform. But my first question to him, not a question. I just want to ask the coach, how him time in Jamaica so far with him family? Do you enjoy it, or it's too much sun? What is it? What you prefer? Iceland? The weather? What is it? I want to know,
No, like I said before in the show, all negatives has some positives in it. So sometimes it's too hot. It probably shows on my forehead. But I'm acclimatizing, and the family as well. So we are getting better and better in the heat. But it's you should share a little bit of the sun. You're too privileged. Every day you take the curtain from the window and it's sunny. You should stay like one winter in Iceland. Then you really appreciate the weather here in Jamaica. It's amazing. No, we are. I think we are settling in quite nicely, and we're trying to be open, speaking to everyone, get everyone's opinions and views about football, about life and such. So we're trying to learn from everyone we meet, and I have to compliment the Jamaican people. I think they are really open, and they've been really polite to us, even though we look strange and probably talk strange. So we're really grateful to the people, how welcomed we have been taken here.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my question now, coach. What is your short-term goal and what is your long-term goal? What you want to achieve in the short term? We have the Gold Cup coming up, we have the Nation League coming up. What are your short-term and your long-term plan for the Jamaica national team?
So the goals is to improve the team pretty quickly, to get it organized. If we can get this team of players organized, I think we can do really good things. And then the byproduct will be victories, hopefully victories and good games. So I think that is a byproduct, the results, hopefully. And I did try to put an emphasis on that when I started. Hopefully we can have a win in Mexico, and I'm not joking. I know this hasn't happened before, but if we are really united and go to Mexico and win, then we can get, and then we will automatically get a semi-final and a final in June. That is really good 2 preparation matches for the Gold Cup, which is the big tournament this year. So we always will go to every game wanting to win it. And that is something you will hear. We always will go with a plan to win it. It doesn't need to be the same plan every match. But what I hope in the short term is to do well in the Gold Cup this summer, because that's a really good preparation for the World Cup, and then to be among the top 6 CONCACAF nations to qualify for the Copa America next year. That would again be a huge preparation possibilities for the World Cup again. So big tournaments every year until the World Cup. So we just like to be a part of it all. We like to improve all the time. That is the big goal. And like I said, if we grow as a team, then the byproduct will be victories. Yeah. Hope I answered the question. Sorry, it was a long one.
All right, Ryan. Thank you.
I really do appreciate it. One thing before I leave, coach. I hope you enjoy your time in Jamaica. And before I leave, this is the last question. What is your favorite Jamaican food?
I've tried so much. I've tried the jerk chicken, the jerk pork. I've tried the goat, some of your fish. I probably will stick to the pork because I come from Iceland. Is uncomparably the best fish in the world is from Iceland. So I would stick to the pork. I think what I've eaten now. No, the saltfish and aki was really good as well.
Yeah, saltfish and aki.
Okay.
Yeah.
So big up yourself, man. Well done. Yeah. Great interview. Enjoying it. Big up yourself and nothing but love and respect, Bridget.
All right. Blessings, Ryan.
Thank you.
All right. Right. So people, listen, coach, we have come to the end now. I see one person call it, but we have passed the 2 hours. I've taken 10 minutes of your time. Hold on. So this is the last one, and we have to go. All right. We call it this person. He runs a channel called Unseen, because he's not normally on the scene.
Yeah. It's a podcast joke.
Yes. Yes. What is your question, Unseen? Go quickly so the coach can answer.
First, I wanted to big up to Coach Hallgirmsson for coming on. Really,
thanks.
The informative podcast. Learn a lot and stuff as a person who wants to become a great coach like you in the future. You know, and also for the fans, you know, this really bring the coach, the football back to the fans. That's one of the most important things that I like about it. You understand? We feel like we are back to the football. We weren't back to we weren't with the football there as we do. Because previous person, individual characteristics and things, but you are bringing back the football to the fans and we like. But the question I have is, I want you to tell us why it is important for the coaches to incorporate the local based players into the system. A lot of people saying that they're not good enough, use the overseas players. I just want you to explain to them why it is important to incorporate them in the system, teaching them your philosophy and your system so that they can get into the national team.
There's many reasons why we do this camp. We've been doing here in Jamaica, and hopefully we will continue to work with them. Number one, we look for the talent. If there's a talented players, we can choose them straight from playing domestically to the national team. That is no problem. I have no problem with that. But with doing these camps here in Jamaica, then the players here, of course, will have an advantage because they work continuously with the coach and knows the coach's philosophy. So if there is a player dropping out in the team when we are going to play, I would 100% trust the player from here to jump into the squad and be even ready to play. So that is one of the reasons that we are doing this. So the players, they have the advantage, and hopefully they can use it in their own team to help the team to improve. So they can work on the things that we want, so they can become better national team players. But is first to scout all the players that we think are the best players here in Jamaica, bring them to the camp, seeing them with their own eyes, not only what they do on the pitch and on the training, but also to know them in a personal basis, how they react to our working environment. And then these things to just be sure that even on a short notice, I can call the player because he has been working with us for a long time and he knows exactly what we expect of him. I hope that is the answer that you wanted.
Yeah, man, that's a good answer. Good answer.
All right, Unseen.
Well, last thing, Sir Hallgirmsson, how is it? How is it so far in Jamaica? With the fans, going into the JPL game, and what are some of the words that you're learning?
No, you can't.
Bombo That's maybe every other fifth word I hear.
No.
So
Coach, I told you that you're not supposed to say that one. You weren't supposed to. I told you. Unseen. All right, Unseen. Let's go. All right, Unseen. See, look at that. You heard, I told you that you're not supposed to say that. Yeah, that's you're not supposed to say that word. Like when you go.
Can we play back and take it out?
No. Well, what is this going live?
Delete it.
So when you go on the TV and the radio,
you don't say that.
You can't say that because the Broadcasting Commission will cause some problem. but I think it's
it's all right. Is your wife controlling the broadcast here? Is she going to fire you now?
No, it's all right. But it's all right, man. It's all right again.
Then I'll say sorry.
No, they said that you're officially Jamaican now. Yeah, but I mean, anything you want to say to the fans and all the persons listening so far, and just to anyone out there, anything anything that we may have missed, I may have missed in terms of asking that you just like for people to know and to understand, and then we can we can close out. And let me just say again, for those of you who are wondering why we are in blue shirts, it's a green screen. So next time we'll try to fix something. You know what? Let me just show you. All right, hold on. I need to do this.
No, maybe in the end, so it's not a blank space here. So maybe in the end, I just wanted to thank the people. The initial days have been really good, but it's gonna take some time. Hopefully, we can involve a lot of people because I know Jamaicans are passionate about their.
Yeah.
So
you see, so we actually have the Jamaican shirt. He had it on, but you notice that there are parts of it. There you go. So that is why we had to do this. But go ahead, coach. Yeah.
No, we will appreciate all the support. Not. I think it's too much begging for financial support, but we need the brain power and just general support. Now we will be playing 2 matches against Trinidad, and it will be a good start. We asked to play in Jamaica, and then we play Mexico, and we asked to bring the team to Jamaica for preparation for Mexico. So we are trying to bring the team to the people, and I hope the people will come and show up and support the players. So the initial steps will be positive. I hope so, and I know we will get support. But it is not going to be. It's not going to be any shortcut. It's not going to be a magic thing happening overnight. It's going to take time, and hopefully we as coaching staff and the players will have it.
Yeah, and you invite them to that. I mean, listen, he's normally at the games, right? But you should go to the game at. I think the date has been changed. I think it's the 12th now of March, and the 16th.
No, it's 11 and 14.
The 11th and the 14th.
11 and 14 of March, and I think the 11 will be in
Montego Bay,
and the 14 in the National Stadium.
So so people, listen, all of you, you're here. Please ensure that you support the team because that is important. This is good that you come out, you heard from the coach, you support, but most importantly, the players need you at the game, right? And let us create our own thunderclap here in Jamaica, right? So when we turn up at the game, we really cheer the team on and build fresh and new momentum. I am grateful, right? I mean, it's just amazing how this whole connection came about and that the coach is here. I really have confidence. I know sometimes for some of you as fans, it is very difficult given all the disappointment that we have had, right? And everything won't be fixed in a day, but Coach Hallgirmsson and his team, I think they have brought something new to the football. And for his sake, right, I hope Jamaica, corporate Jamaica, right? I mean, you need to come on board. We need when our players come here that they're staying in our best hotels. And as they stay there, there's a football field that they can go to. So they come there, they greet, they meet, and they have the best treatment. All our players. That's what we want to see. We want to know that the coach can bring them to Montego Bay, to Trelawney, to have camps in St. Anne, in Kingston, all over, have good surfaces, and they stay in the best hotel. So sponsors come on board, fans. We have a role to turn out to the games. Wear your colors, right? Don't go to the game in your Manchester United shirt and your Arsenal shirt and your Liverpool shirt. Wear your Jamaican colors. These things are important. Also, I want to encourage you. Coach could have said, "Listen, oh, the players are not good and all of that." No, but listen. Even if you don't think the player is at the level, there's a right way to say the right thing, and you say it with respect. Be honest, but be respectfully honest. And I'm very grateful, and all of Jamaica coach want to say thank you, because you had other options, but you chose to come here, and we believe in the project. We believe in you, and we have your support, and you have a huge fan base here on these social media platforms. They love you. They believe that you're going to be the change that we have always desired to see. And we know we can't do this every week, but every now and then it will, it will happen. Maybe 3 months from now, 4 months from now, 5 months from now. But we hope that we can have more opportunities like this to engage the public. But thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being here, and we really appreciate you. All right.
Thank you very much as well.
All right. Awesome. So people, listen. I am Management. This has been I Am Sure Sports. I want to say thank you to every single one of you for watching, for tuning in. All right. As usual, hit the like button, share, and before you go, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. For all the persons who gave super chat, super stickers, don't worry. There's a new you know that new place that opened down the road. They call it Tika something. It's right across here. Don't worry, I'm going to, Coach and I will go out and enjoy some of this super sticker, super chat money. Give it to the podcast, Probably he can get some pork and I will get some fish. You understand? But you take care. All of you have a wonderful rest of the night. It was such a pleasure being here with you, and I know that Coach also enjoyed your company as well. Until we meet again, be safe. I am Management, and when it gets to this point of the show, we say we are over and we are OUT out of here.